Every year, on the last night of October, we light candles in the dark. We carve smiling faces into pumpkins, dress as ghosts, and fill the streets with laughter. But long before Halloween was a night of tricks and treats, it was something far older and far stranger. To ancient peoples, this was the night when the veil grew thin, when the living and the dead walked the same earth under the same cold moon. Fires burned on hilltops to guide lost souls home and to keep darker things away. We celebrate without knowing that every flame, every mask, every shadow echoes a ritual thousands of years old. This is the story of that night, the one we call All Hallows Eve. 2,000 years ago, before there was a Halloween, there was Samhain. To the ancient Celts of Ireland, Britain, and Gaul, it marked the death of summer and the birth of winter's dark half. Their year was divided by 4 great festivals: Imbolc, Beltane, Lunasa, and Samhain. But it was Samhain, the last harvest, that stood apart. The harvest was in, the fields lay bare, and the people faced the long cold months ahead. They believed that as the world fell into darkness, the boundaries of existence began to fray. Time itself seemed to stand still, and the dead could walk among the living once more. Families built great bonfires on the hills, flames to honor their ancestors and drive away wandering spirits. Livestock were gathered and sacrificed for winter feasts, their bones cast into the fires, a ritual of protection and renewal. In the glow of those fires, druids and seers performed rites of divination, reading the shapes of ashes, the flicker of embers, the fall of apple peels and nuts, searching for glimpses of the year to come. Yet this was not a night of terror. For the Celts, death was not evil, only another world that ran beside their own. The spirits who crossed the veil were family, visitors returning home through smoke and stars. Food was left on thresholds, seats kept empty by the hearth, and to confuse darker forces, people painted their faces or wrapped themselves in animal hides, becoming part of the mystery themselves. For one night, the worlds of the living and the dead shared the same light. These fires burned across the Celtic lands, so bright that even centuries later, when new faiths arrived, their glow could not be ignored. And when the church saw those hilltop flames, it understood. To replace them, it would first have to sanctify them. For centuries, the fires of Samhain burned across the Celtic lands. When Christian missionaries arrived, they found a people bound not by temples or idols, but by time itself. The church soon realized that to convert the Celts, it could not extinguish their festivals. It would have to give them new names and new meanings. In the 7th century, Pope Boniface IV established All Saints' Day to honor the martyrs. 2 centuries later, Pope Gregory III moved it to November 1st, aligning it with Samhain's ancient fires. The night before became All Hallows Eve, the Vigil of the Saints. By the 11th century, Abbot Odilo of Cluny added All Souls' Day on November 2nd, prayers for the ordinary dead. Together they formed a sacred trilogy, the Triduum of the Dead, one for the saints in heaven, one for the souls in waiting, and one for the living who kept watch between them. The fires of Samhain still burned, but now they flickered in the churchyards and chapels. Offerings to ancestors became prayers for the departed. Masks and bonfires became candles and bells. What the church could not destroy, it baptized. And in the process, it bound heaven and earth together in a new ritual, half holy, half haunted. But beneath the prayers and the saints, the old beliefs endured, waiting for the night to fall again. As centuries passed, the church's holy days took hold, but in the shadows, the old fires never truly went out. Across Ireland, Scotland, and England, people still kept vigil on All Hallows Eve. They baked small round soul cakes, each one offered in memory of a loved one, and children went door to door singing prayers for the dead in exchange. They called it souling. Others took to the roads in disguise, soot-blackened faces, straw cloaks, animal hides, to confuse the wandering spirits. They called it guising. And in the highlands, fortune-telling games filled the night. Apples dropped in water, nuts roasted on the hearth, playful echoes of the druids' old divinations. From Ireland came the tale of Stingy Jack, the trickster doomed to roam with only a burning coal inside a hollowed turnip. To frighten such spirits away, people carved their own faces into vegetables and placed candles within, warding lights in cottage windows. Over time, the turnip became a pumpkin, the prayer became a song, the offering became a game. Yet behind every jest and lantern flame, the same idea endured, that for one night each year, the boundary between life and death thinned, and it was wise to honor those who might still be watching. These customs crossed oceans with the people who carried them, and in a new land they would be reborn once more. By the 19th century, the old autumn customs had scattered across Europe, carried in memory more than in ritual, but they would find new life across the Atlantic. Irish and Scottish immigrants brought their October fires to America. Here, the old traditions met a new world, shaped by crowded cities and restless imagination. The carved turnip gave way to the pumpkin, native to its soil, brighter and easier to shape. Children borrowed the songs and disguises of souling and guising, turning them into mischief and play. By the late 1800s, newspapers spoke of Halloween as a night of harmless pranks and autumn parties, apple games, ghost stories, and parades. And as the 20th century dawned, industry and mass media made it universal. Costumes filled shop windows. Postcards showed smiling witches instead of wandering spirits. The holy day became a holiday. Yet even as the meaning changed, the rhythm stayed the same. A single night to face the dark, to laugh at fear, and to remember that the living and the dead still share the same season. The fires of Samhain had crossed the oceans and centuries, no longer sacred, but never forgotten. We call it Halloween, but beneath the masks and the laughter, its heart is ancient. Long before cathedrals and candy, people gathered around fire and memory, believing that the dead were never far away. The names have changed, the prayers have faded, but the feeling remains. That instinct to light the dark, to honor what came before, to ask the night to remember us. Every flame we place in a window, every candle that flickers behind a smiling face, carries a trace of those first hilltop fires. We still dress as ghosts and monsters, not to mock them, but to become part of the story for a single night. And maybe as the world grows quiet and the last lanterns burn low, something ancient stirs just beyond the edge of the light, watching, waiting, remembering. Because this night has never truly been about fear. It has always been about remembrance and return. From Samhain to All Hallows, from prayer to play, the same fire burns on. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for more, and as always, stay curious.